Yeah.
There
Can
we
you hear me
go.
now? All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
cool.
I can hear you.
That was
Yeah,
my
just some.
fault. I did something. I did something I shouldn't have did. I don't know.
It's all good. Like I said, I want to take it back to the beginning and then work our way up to what you have going on now, all the while acknowledging your achievements throughout the year. Uh,
Okay.
Big shout out to Jen and Emily for making this happen. Um, and like I said, I'd like to take it back for all of those who may have forgot, may not, who have never known. Can you take us back to where you were born and raised?
I'm born and raised Queens, New York. The area of St. Albans, kind of St. Albans, Hollis, which in the area I live within a 4 mile square radius, more hip hop celebrities came out of that 4 mile radius than anywhere. I mean,
Very,
from the Ja Rules, 50 Cents, the LLs, the Run DMCs, the, uh, the Russell Simmonses, it goes on and on and on.
right. Take us back to a day in the life of growing up in New York, teenage years for Jay Philpott.
Right. Well, for me personally, in high school, I was a collegiate wrestler. I wrestled for the New York City team. I was New York City champ, New York State runner-up.
Wow.
So what for me pretty much was running, working out, um, tournaments. Then on the other side, playing basketball. I still played hoops and stuff with other people.
Right.
So I did cool things, man. Didn't do drugs or drink or anything. So
Right.
that was
Any
really cool.
any obstacles you had to face growing up in New York early on?
The obstacles that I had to face, but it was really not a obstacle because I didn't know. Was not having a lot of money in the household.
Right.
So that was a bit of an obstacle. You
Right.
couldn't do everything you wanted to do.
Right. Earlier on, what would you consider some of your interests and hobbies before delving into DJing?
Oh, sports, definitely sports. I did play a musical instrument. I played trombone. I don't know if you read my bio, but my dad was
Your dad's a saxophonist, legendary. So
yeah,
is that where
yeah,
you got the influence from?
yeah. I love funk. Love the funk bands, the Ohio Players and the Lakesides and the Confunction and those bands. I just love that, and music still do. And that's you know where I was really indulging. But then in the maybe 78, no 77, 78, somewhere like that, it changed over to hip hop. And the funk bands started going out. You know,
Right.
so.
Can you kind of mention what you were seeing with your dad earlier on, as far as him being in some legendary bands?
Um, my first concert, I was probably about 4 or 5, was Wilson Pickett. And for those who don't know, Wilson, what's up, Terry? Wilson Pickett was like James Brown. To me, they say Wilson Pickett was a better singer. James Brown was a better entertainer. So my father was like one of the band leaders for Wilson Pickett.
Wow,
Yeah, so
very dope.
that was my first concert. Yeah.
Can you talk about a little bit about the music scene in New York earlier on? Before, like I said, all this is before you got into DJing. What were you seeing visually? You say funk kind of transition to hip hop. What were you seeing musically around New York?
Oh, well, back then we used to have what's called block parties, a lot of block parties. And, they used to have block parties. They used to have BYOB parties and stuff like that. Social clubs had parties. And what happened is they always had bands there. But eventually you started seeing DJs, more and more DJs than anything. So, that's when it kind of changed around. Go to block parties and see guys just playing their records, and it wasn't really nothing fancy, but they were just playing records and getting the same. What's up, Round? I see a bunch of my folks on here. Yeah, it wasn't nothing. It was just playing good music, people dancing, having a great time.
Right. Uh, A lot of MCs, DJs will say some of their first forays into the world of hip hop was graffiti or breakdancing. For you personally, what was your first element getting into the music?
Well, we've always seen graffiti, but for me, really, it was the music. It was the DJing. The DJing was the first element for me.
Take us back to getting into DJing. Did you have a mentor earlier on?
Uh, I would say they're mentors. I would say they're idols. One was a guy by the name of DJ Hollywood. To me, he's the godfather of DJs. I mean, when a guy can headline, I mean, can open up for James Brown and Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and open up today, still, I got to give him his props. So DJ Hollywood. Locally, there was a guy by the name of DJ Divine. He was from a group called Infinity Machine, and he was from Queens, South Side Queens, South Side Jamaica, and he was the guy I looked up to too.
Right. Pre-LL, can you take us back to some of the dues you had to pay to get your name known out there in the streets?
Oh yeah, man. We carried. We did a lot of block parties, a lot of parties. Carried speakers, built speakers, bought speakers, chipped in. A whole group of us, and those were the dudes, man. Trying to get out there who had the best sound system, and I guess if you had the best sound system, you can overshadow some of the other DJs, that we battled, and battling was a friendly thing. It's just who had the best music, who had the best sound, and pretty much that.
Right.
And
Pre LL again. Were you in any other groups, or did you DJ for any solo artists before LL?
no, I mean I was in a group called Future Sound, and then a group called Ebony Sound, and vice versa. Ebony Sound first, and Future Sound, and that was it. That was a local group we had. My man MC Denny D, Mervin, my man Lou, um, Troy. It was a bunch of us. So forgive the heart. I mean, forgive the head, not the heart, if I forgot the names. Some of the names.
Right. So, what point does LL come in the picture for DJ Cut Creator? Take us back to a year.
Great,
And
great segue. So we were all DJing a block party. I'll never forget. It was about it was a street called I think it was Jordan. A street called Jordan, and it was around the corner from LL's house. And this was like we were all getting ready to go back to school and do our thing. And he used to always ask me about, can I rap, man? Can I rap? He was maybe like 12 years old, maybe 13. I think maybe 12. And then I would always brush him off. So one time he asked me, we all get ready to go back to school and, work and all this, summer was ending. And in New York, the summer ends pretty much right after Labor Day. So he always asked me to rap. So one day I let him rap, and he was amazing. He caught everybody's eye and ear,
right.
and literally set himself up to be, okay, who's that kid? We heard about this kid.
You went by the name of Jay Ski at this time, I believe. What do you remember most about a young LL coming into his own as an MC?
Um, that his knowledge, his love, his passion. I think he was dedicated from point day, from point one. From day one, I should meant. Yeah, he was very dedicated, and I saw success in him day one. To be honest, uh, because when he actually got his record deal, I wasn't thinking like that. Back then I wasn't thinking like that. I'm, thinking about school and, well, do I do it? Do I go to the military? Do I, take a city job, cop, corrections officer, that type of stuff. So I wasn't really thinking on the terms of a long-term hip hop career at all.
Right. Can you give us a timeline of when you guys met as far as year?
I think I was 82, 83. Let me see. I Need a Beat came out in 84. So I say 82. I met him.
Okay. What kind of earlier discussions did you have with LL and the group as far as the direction you guys wanted to go?
I had none. I like I said, I was going back to what I said previously. I was about, making a career choice at that point.
Right.
It wasn't about oh, we're gonna go do this. Nah, he actually got his deal on his own. He did bought all these records, look up the addresses, mailed copies off to all these record labels, and they got in the hands of Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys and Rick Rubin, and that's how he just got discovered. I had no plans with him at that point. Prior, it was just like, hey, summertime, I see you, good luck, that's like, just to be truthful.
Right. Did you have any help with him recording his demos earlier on?
Not so ever. He did it in his basement on a drum machine. And I think somebody from across the street, a couple of cats from across the street from him, I had nothing to do with none of that.
Right. At what point did you start taking it serious? Were you there with the meetings as far as Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons go earlier on?
No, I got involved when the actual I Need a Beat came out, and he said, yo, I got a deal. And I'm like, yeah, right. And he said, I want, and then when he finally bought the actual record home, I was like, oh, okay. He said, I want you to, to be with me. And technically, a lot of people don't know. This is a very interesting story. I'm not the original cut creator. A lot of people don't know that. In 1983, there was a guy by the name of Philip. I forgot it. He had a French name. I don't remember what his last name. Jeremy, or something like that. Well, he actually was cut creator. A lot of people don't know. My name was Cool J.
Wow.
I DJ'd under the Cool J for a long time. So what happened was, when I started working with him, everybody thought it was LL Cool J, like Run DMC. And it wasn't. It was more like LL Cool J, but I dropped the name Cool J and took the name Cut Creator because the guy Philip didn't pan out anyway. So I took that name.
Wow. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of dumbfounded at the moment, but can you take us back? Did you have any involvement with I Need a Beat?
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay. So he gives the tape to Ad Rock, who gives the tape to Rick Rubin, and now we're in discussion for a deal. Do you remember any of the other labels that LL shopped before landing at Def Jam?
Oh man, Profile, Tommy Boy, not Emergency. Emergency was a friend of mine. Emergency Records. Pretty much all the ones that the hip hop artists had.
Right. When that when that single dropped, can you remember the reaction from the fans, the general public, I Need a Beat, for that single?
I remember it was weird. I can tell you, I'm going to kind of answer that in two-part question. I remember when it first came on the radio, and we have some great friends, lifelong friends by the name of Cool Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out. Cool DJ Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out. And they played it on their Saturday night show. And LO pretty much ran up and down the street like, yo, my record's on it. So it was cool. But answering your question, it was good. It was good. It was really good. A good response.
Right. Can you take us back to the first show you guys did? Was that at Manhattan Center High School?
Right. You did your research, man. Yes, absolutely. Manhattan. That was on 116th Street and on the east side. Like I think the old school was I forgot the name of the old high school, but it was a famous high school back in the day on 116th and East Side Drive, somewhere like that. And oh, no, it was a school. I can tell you, I remember. What's that? Walter Berry and those guys used to play basketball for that high school. Not something Franklin, or I don't know. I don't remember to that extent. But yeah, and it was no stage. It was just tables pushed together. And then we played with Tila Rock and Jazzy J, and Dr. Jekyll, the late great Andre Harrell, and Mr. Hyde. And we were on tables, literally on tables, like lunchroom tables. Right. That was the stage.
What did you learn from that night being your first show? Did you guys rehearse going into that?
Yeah, we did a little rehearsal. We knew what we were going to do. We did a couple of routines, and then, of course, we had 15 minutes and did a couple of breaks and, let them freestyle. And then I Need a Beat. And the young ladies went crazy. And it was on right from there.
Right. In '85, it's time for LL's debut album, Radio. Can you take us back to some of the earlier conversations that you guys were having as far as the direction and the plan going into that album?
Well, the plan was head-spitted from Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin. They just wanted LL to be hardcore B-boy, hardcore, no, it was funny. One night we were at this place called the Encore, and LL was dressed like the Furious Five. Like, we're like, yo, what are you wearing? He had like boots up to his knees and, leather jacket. And we're like, yo, what is that? And we didn't know any better. He said, well, the Furious Five is dressing like that. Why don't I dress like that? So that was an interesting experience.
Can you remember the recording sessions for that? I believe that was at Chung King Studios. Can you take us back to some of those best memories?
Well, the first album, I really didn't do too much, believe it or not. It was like Rick Rubin, Jazzy J had some parts to do it. And that was later, Mr. X. That was a little bit later. Yeah, Rick Rubin, Jazzy J, they did a lot of that. I came in a little bit later on the recording side.
Okay. Do you remember what it was like working with Rick Rubin as far as a producer?
Well, Rick, what's up, Todd? Rick is very quiet, knows what he wants, knows how to do it, and he gets to the point. Very quiet dude, though.
Right.
Yeah. So, it was serious. It was very serious.
Very serious. Best memories overall for you recording that first album?
Be honest, when it came out. Like I said, I didn't do too much on that because remember, this is new to me also.
Right.
So I didn't know how to. So I'm educating myself also.
Right.
As far as recording, like I said, I was really new to this. This was I went whole left field,
Right.
with this.
You witnessed the singles, I Can't Live Without My Radio, You're Rock, I Can Give You More, and Rock the Bells. At what point did you really see the momentum growing and things really started to take off for this album?
I think the album really took off the movie Crush Groove.
When
we're in the movie Crush Groove, that's when it took off. It skyrocketed from there.
That was not my next question. Can you take us back to how the role in Crush Groove came about?
LL's determination. He was like, yo, I'm getting in this movie somehow, some way, we're going to do something. And Russell and them got them to write that little skit. And that little skit created LL Cool J. Yeah.
How did life change for you personally after that movie?
The money changed. Getting $1,000 a show to getting $10,000 a show. It just changed. It changed crazy.
Do you remember overall how the album was received when it first came out?
let me get this straight. I think Crush Groove came before the album,
Okay.
so it had a good momentum behind it.
Okay.
That movie, yeah, yeah, it had a great momentum behind it. You know,
As
As of yesterday, that album is 38 years old. Yesterday,
wow.
38 years ago. Yesterday.
Congratulations on such
Thanks.
a achievement.
Hmm.
With all great albums, it is time for tour time. You guys joined the Raising Hell tour, I believe, for that.
Actually, we did spot dates on the Fresh Fest tour. We did a few dates on that, and that was a little get your feet wet. But as far as us, we got put on the Raising Hell tour with Run DMC, the Great Houdini, rest in peace, X, Beastie Boys, and Timex Social Club, Rumors. They had that song Rumors, yeah. So it was us five, and we toured probably 8 months straight,
Wow.
4 to 5 days a week, like
Best memory.
consistently, not like you got weekends. No, we did 4 to 5 days a week, like 8, 9 months straight.
Crazy.
We would go back to cities twice. That's how crazy it was.
Best overall memories of that tour. Give us one maybe great night that you just stands out for a Cut Creator.
Well, it was a bunch, but one of the best things about the tour was the brotherhood and the fellowship with the other artists. Me and Jam Master Jay became really close. I could, even though he's a year or two younger, rest in peace, Jay. I consider him a mentor. He helped me along the way when people, doubted me. But Jay has helped me and built my foundation. So I got to give a lot of credit to him. Also, my boy Grandmaster D, who we were just a week together on the Tom Joyner cruise, hanging out. So that that's the camaraderie.
Right. Very dope.
Nucleus was on the Fresh Fest. Nucleus
Uh,
wasn't on. I'm trying to answer questions and
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. As the
yeah.
timeline goes
Nucleus
on,
is on
feel
the
free.
Fresh Fest, not on Raising Hell.
Cool. 2 years later, after the debut, it's time for the sophomore album, Bigger and Deffer, 1987. What was the game plan going into this, and what adjustments did you guys make?
Oh, big adjustments. We brought in a group called the LA Posse, Bobcat, my man Muffler, Daryl Pierce, myself. We had more heads out there helping us. So we all became a close knit family then. So that's when we introduced it to the world. Bobcat, amazing DJ, one of the best. You know, as far as scratching and all that. So it was a combination of my scratching, his scratching, and you know, fresh, fresh new production team.
Right.
So
Was there any pressure from the label going into this album, or was this pretty much on your guys' terms? Because I believe that was like 2 years later. Can you expound on that?
nah, it was a free fall. It was like go for it. See what you could do. And a lot of things, the classics. It was a classic album.
Can you take us back to some of your favorite moments from those sessions?
Uh, just in the studio drinking the 40s, cracking jokes. And see, it wasn't that as easy as it was now. Now it's real easy as far as recording. I mean, I got to set up right in front of me, that I can record. Then you had, worked on 2 inches. You had to, bump it down to, half inch, mixing, manually. It wasn't as easy as it is now.
Right. Feel free at any time to tell us anything else you got going on during this time, whether you were delving into production or working with the artist. So just so we can get a overall idea of what DJ Cut Creator was going
Well,
through.
originally, a lot of people don't know also, I was road manager and DJ. So I would collect the money and, DJ and sets, the shows up and stuff like that, advance the shows and everything. So, you know, a lot of people didn't know that. So a lot of times I would have money all in my socks and stashed away and be on stage DJing.
Right.
You know, so, but for, you know, as far as I still was not sure in life what I was going to do until the tour, the Def Jam tour, that second album we toured. And that tour introduced the world to Public Enemy, Eric B. Rakim, Houdini. We had Kumo D, we had Dougie Fresh. We had so many people on that tour, in and out. Stetson Sonic, was introduced. So it had it did its job. I mean, we had fun too.
So tell me, what was it about that tour that you decided, okay, this is what I want to do?
Same thing. About 10 months of touring nonstop. We toured till we couldn't tour no more. I mean, we just toured, man. We would go to cities twice, 3 times. Go to Atlanta and then crazy come back. 4 months later, then come back 6 months later. It was crazy. It was that showed me, wait, there's some things in this business that's pretty cool to do.
Right. The first single for that album was "I'm Bad." What do you remember most about the reaction when that single dropped?
You hit me in the head now. You're talking about 35 years ago. I remember the video. I think the video really took over. The video was pretty cool. We shot the video in downtown Brooklyn within maybe, I'd say 24 hours straight period. Like from getting off tour, like getting off, flying in there, starting the first scene all the way to the next night. That's how crazy it was. So I guess that the video really impacted, the song.
Right.
That's when people used to really watch videos too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Later, "I Need Love" comes out. Did LL feel like he was taking a risk with this song?
No, he didn't take a risk. Some people thought he might.
Right.
But he didn't. One thing about LL, man, he goes for it. If he feels it in his heart, he's gonna go for it.
Right. Definitely got a great reception. Mm-hmm.
I think he was the one that said, man, everything in us doesn't have to be so hard. Even the hardest dudes have, hearts, feelings and stuff.
Right.
So
definitely a turning point. This was also a moment in time where DJs were often celebrated. You had Run DMC celebrating Jam Master Jay, Public Enemy celebrating Terminator X. How important was it for you to be celebrated on Go Cut Creator Go?
It was amazing. And some of those songs like Rock the Bells and Radio, where Cut Creator Rock the Beat with your hands. No other DJ's name has been mentioned more than mine, literally till today. Like you think about how many, they still mention my name. So it was amazing, and I always appreciate it